the representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, the Inspector General of Police, and the representatives of the OIC, National Commissioners INEC, the convener, Civil Society Situation Room. I can see NOB from a distance. Our development partners, representatives of the various security agencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like, first of all, to welcome the Inspector General of Police to this briefing. As I said yesterday, I had the firm assurance of the Inspector General that he will join us today, and he is here. No one else in Nigeria is in a better position to speak on internal security, including election security, than the Inspector General of Police. We appreciate your presence, IGP. Arising from the media briefing yesterday, some issues were raised to which the Commission promised to investigate and respond at this meeting. First is the availability of identification cards and vehicle stickers for accredited journalists in Lagos, Osun, and Gombe states. I have confirmed from the 3 states that all the cards for journalists that applied through our portal have been received and either fully collected or available for collection. The only outstanding accreditation is for other media organizations, mainly online, that operates in towns and communities whose accreditation is handled by the resident electoral commissioners after proper identification by the state chairman of the Nigeria Union of Journalists. I urge the media organizations in this category to liaise with our resident electoral commissioners immediately. On vehicle identification stickers, there is no special sticker for journalists. We have the general election duty stickers for all vehicles, including those used by observers and INEC officials. These stickers are available in all our state offices and will be provided to all accredited journalists. The second issue is the unfortunate incident involving the candidate of the Labour Party in Enugu State. I can confirm that we have now received a formal communication from the political party informing the Commission of the death of its candidate for Enugu East Senatorial District. The party also conveyed its intention to participate in the election for that constituency by replacing its deceased candidate. This request is in line with the provisions of the law. For clarity, I would like to quote verbatim Section 34, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, which says, and I quote, "If after the time for the delivery of nomination paper and before the commencement of poll, a nominated candidate dies, the Chief National Electoral Commissioner shall, being satisfied of the fact of death, countermand the poll in which the deceased candidate was to participate, and the Commission shall appoint some other convenient date for the election within 14 days, unquote. The Labour Party has provided satisfactory evidence of the death of its candidate. Consequently, the Commission has suspended the election in the Senatorial District as provided by law. We have already communicated this decision to our Enugu State office. Therefore, there will be no senatorial election in Enugu East Senatorial District, made up of 6 local government areas, 77 wards, and 1,630 polling units tomorrow, Saturday, the 25th of February, 2023. The election will now be combined with the governorship and state assembly elections, holding in the next 2 weeks on 11th March 2023. Materials already delivered for the senatorial election will remain in the custody of the central bank in the state until the new date for the election. We are glad about the progress we are making with the movement of materials to various locations around the country. Having deployed these materials to the local government areas, we are today devolving deployment to the registration area centers so that early morning tomorrow, the polls will open as planned. These registration area centers have been activated and election duty staff have started arriving in them. The Commission is aware of the situation in Imo State, in the southeastern part of the country, where it was reported that some of the critical polling unit officials drawn from the National Youth Service Corps have withdrawn their participation from some local government areas as a result of perennial insecurity. From the report we received from our state office, concerns have been expressed about the security situation in Osu local government area, 5 wards in Okigwe, and 6 in Olu local government areas. However, we have been assured that with enough mobilization of security personnel to the area, it is possible for elections to hold in these locations. I have been in touch with the Inspector General of Police, who will brief us on the plans of the police to secure these locations for elections to hold peacefully when he addresses us shortly. Generally speaking, the situation nationwide is calm as far as our preparations are concerned. There has been no incident involving the personnel or huge quantities of materials deployed by the Commission. Voter enthusiasm is high, and so too is our determination to conduct credible elections. Tomorrow is election day. All campaign rallies, processions, and media advertising by candidates for presidential, senatorial, and federal constituencies ended at midnight yesterday. Voting begins at 8:30 a.m. and ends at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. However, any voter who is on the queue before 2:30 p.m. will be allowed to vote, even if voting goes beyond the official closing time. No voter will be disenfranchised. I wish all Nigerians a pleasant voting experience tomorrow. We have established a situation room here at the National Collation Center. Our INEC Citizens Contact Center is already up and running. Nigerians can contact us on our well-publicized social media handles, live and direct on election day. On this note, it is now my pleasure to invite the Inspector General of Police as head of the lead agency in internal security in Nigeria to address us, and thereafter we will together respond to your questions, comments, and observations. I thank you very much.
The Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, the Rep of the Secretary General, Federal Commissioners present here, the national and local observers, civil society organizations, senior police officers and other members of INEC, members of sister security agencies, particularly the civil defense, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to also add my voice to that of the INEC chairman, which borders on policing the electoral process. Policing the electoral process started as far back as 28th of September when the ban on politics has been lifted. We were, to a large extent, regulating, supervising, monitoring all rallies and campaigns with a view to have a peaceful period of politicking until today, when we are now going to move to the next stage, that is policing the electoral or election day. As far as the election day is concerned, we have made arrangements in a coordinated, collaborated, and synergized manner. The police leads all other security agencies, but like I said, we cooperate, we collaborate, and synergize. And therefore, our deployment will be done collectively, except for the military and the intelligence community. We have pooled our personnel to one basket, be it from the civil defense, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Customs Service, the EFCC, the Federal Road Safety Corps, Fire Service. All of us are coming together. We expect by this to deploy 428,000 personnel from these services to police the election on the election day. Besides that, we have also made arrangements to have our arms escorts, arms guards, and armed departments to provide another form of policing to the electoral process. That is to say, there are policing the issue of adversaries, those who may not want for the election to take place, or those who are ready to sabotage the process. This kind of policing requires motorized, armed patrol teams. This kind of supervision requires use of minimum force to condition the area for those who are willing to come out and exercise their franchise. For that reason, we have also made arrangements for armed patrols, armed TOD points near polling stations and collation centers to look at the issue of making the place conducive for law-abiding citizens to come out. We have also made arrangements to make sure that collation centers are protected. We collapse our policing of the polling units and polling stations as soon as after the election to come and man the collation centers. That will be done, and those who don't have anything to do will not be allowed to be there. We have been able to issue election tag to all the personnel that are going to take place in this policing period. And therefore, every police officer or a security officer that is going to take part will be accredited, and the tag was also issued to him to abate or to avoid fake policeman or fake NYC or whatever. We have also made arrangements by looking at issues of crime mapping the entire country, thereby concentrating on areas that requires either minimum deployment or maximum or average based on the analysis or based on the threat analysis that has been done both by our service and that of other services, especially the DSS, and also even the civil society organizations have given us threat analysis of the country, and we are going to concentrate on policing these places. In addition to what we have, we've been able to deploy 74 armored personnel carriers, 74 armored personnel carriers from the police, 37 water cannons, 1,240 patrol vehicles, 50 troop carriers, 50 ambulances, 60 buses, 300 motorcycles, motorized equipment for crowd control, 6 helicopters, 9 unarmed aerial vehicles, 9 unarmed aerial vehicles, that is drones, for mission specific for aerial surveillance. And we have 75 gun trucks with 102 backup boats. These are the materials we hope to use for policing. In order to sharpen our operational and professional knowledge of the police personnel and other security agencies to be deployed for the 2023 general elections, we have organized a series of training on election security management. These are, some of them have taken place in this hall, and we have done it collectively together with the military, the DSS, and all other services. We have also done strategic engagements with members of the political parties. We have done with the civil society organizations. We have brainstormed our relations during the process and how we can ensure that a hitch-free election is conducted. In order to strengthen these interagency synergy towards delivery of our election security mandate, we've been involved in a series of strategic engagements with the military, INEC, and sister agencies. Election monitoring, which was composed for the purpose of ensuring that our men deployed for this service do exactly what we ask them to do. And therefore, we have constituted a team that will go around in the 36 states and the FCT to see how compliant it is by the security officers. In doing so, we have also developed a code of conduct booklet, which we have distributed to all the services. This booklet has clearly spelled out what are your duties, roles, while policing election. Electoral Offenses Investigation Unit has also been created in all the states, in all the state criminal departments. We have also one at the headquarters level. All electoral offenses are to be investigated, and case diary will be equally forwarded to INEC for possible prosecution. Special intelligence deployment. As part of efforts to address the menace of vote buying and vote selling, a special intelligence unit of the force has been constituted to clandestinely monitor the trend and work with EFCC, ICPC, and INEC in identifying the network that may be involved in this illegality. In addition, a unique technical intelligence asset of the force are also to be deployed towards identifying adverse elements that may be planning to disrupt the process through this initiative. Such elements will be identified real-time, geolocated, isolated, arrested, and brought to justice. Strategic communication. The force is deploying strategic communication tools with intent to positively influencing the public narratives towards some of the fake news and fake information that are coming out. We always try to see how we can bring out the real in messages, and also do a lot of jingles and other things to encourage Nigerians to do the right thing. The role of the Nigeria Police Cyber Crime Center. In view of the digitalization of the elections and our recognition of the need for a coordinated forensic management, and monitoring of the process, the Nigeria Police Force has, through the MPF National Cyber Crime Center, established a mobile forensic laboratory and security operations centers to monitor cyber threats in real time and to conduct social media analysis of key and non-key players in the electoral process. The center also has capacity to analyze recovered electronic and computer-related pieces of evidence to support the electoral process. In this regard, some operatives from the center will be deployed to other parts of the country, and their activities will be centrally coordinated from the security operations in our cybercrime center in Abuja. Activation of Police Joint Operation Room. The Nigeria Police Joint Operation Room Center has been activated at the force headquarters. All the security agencies, the defense, that is the three arms of the military, even the NYSC, and everybody has a desk, and in that room there is the possibility and capability of the center for you to see real-time situation of what is happening from our correspondents who are equipped with body cameras to transmit what is happening in that place. The center is open, but the center will be open today by midnight till after the announcement of result. Deployment of Interpol tools. The Interpol tools have also been activated at the NCB Nigeria Force Headquarters Abuja with a view to monitoring the global security space for any mutually exchanged intelligence on possible subversive and criminal elements that might be perfecting plans to disrupt the electoral process. The NCB Nigeria will collaborate with National Intelligence Agency in this regard. Post-election security. In anticipation of possible violence, which most often the process and final declaration of result might bring, the force has in place adequate intelligence and operational arrangement with a view to projecting, anticipating, and promptly dealing with such possibilities should they emerge. The plan is to prevent such localized actions from snowballing into a national security threat. In furtherance to this, the election security deployment framework that has been formed earlier will remain in place well ahead of the conduct and announcement of result and thereafter. Professional standard reinforcement. To ensure that police personnel and other security agencies to be deployed for the election have a clear knowledge of their roles and operate within acceptable legal and ethical standards, we have compiled, and like I said earlier, we have compiled a small book that is called Guidelines for Police and Other Law Enforcement Agencies while on Security Duties. The handbook has been mass-produced and distributed. Challenges. Much as the Nigeria Police has perfected plans to engender a peaceful electoral process, the following have been identified as possible challenges. They are with us. We will continue to manage it, and for us to manage these challenges, we have earlier upscaled our operations, and therefore, believing that we have conditioned the atmosphere more than before. In other words, our analysis of the crime situation in Nigeria has dropped drastically compared to what we have recorded as crime and criminality in the last 1 month. I still believe that continuous and targeted attacks on INEC facilities by subversive anti-democratic elements still remain a challenge. Activities of terrorists, bandits, and secessionists and self-actualization elements, popularly known as IPOB or ECN, still remains a challenge. Patronage and deployment of subnational quasi-security organizations by state actors to advance political interests remain in violation of the Political Act is still a challenge. However, I have issued directives that no quasi-security organization is to be involved in policing the electoral process. Political thuggery, inter-party crisis, and intra-party violence still remain a challenge. Hate speeches, political intolerance and extremism, as well as anti-democratic conduct of some of the state governors and other strategic political actors which could inflame political space. These are some of the challenges, and we believe the way forward is to mitigate these challenges, maintaining the tempo in the ongoing special operation across the country with intent to sustain current relatively stable internal security in order to in particular in troubled areas in the southeast particularly and other places. Different intelligence activities to proactively respond to these threats. Continue to synergize with the military, the intelligence community, and other security agencies and INEC officials towards presenting a common role in the election security governance. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay. The INEC chairman is just reminding me about the situation in Imo State, Olu, Osu, and Okuge. As far as we are concerned, we have told them there is no immune territory in Nigeria where the security agencies will not escort INEC officials to conduct election. But it is our belief that they can understand this and cooperate with us. But however, the information I was having before coming is that the NYSC that are deployed to that area said because of security, they will not be able to go there. What we can do at our best is that both the police and other security agents and the military that are deployed to that site are all ready to go to that place and escort the electoral officials and also have the indigents come out to exercise their franchise. But I don't know what is the arrangement of INEC because they said the NYC are the only people who said they are not going there. So I don't know whether another ad hoc staff will be posted there or efforts will be made to collapse the polling stations to a more safer place. Thank you.
Thank you, the IGP, Usman Akali Baba CFR. Now we have listened to Honorable Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. We've listened to the IGP himself. It's now time for us, if you have any questions, comments, observations, please, you indicate by raising up your hand, you introduce yourself, and you make your comment, observation, or you ask your question. It's time for that, please.
Good evening. My name is Latif Ibrahim. I write for People's Daily newspaper. And my question goes to the IGP. Sir, while you were reading out the number of security deployed, you mentioned 428,000. In another way, you mentioned 425,100. Which of these figures is correct, sir? Okay. The IGP gave two figures of the number of security deployed. He first mentioned 428,000 of security personnel. On the other hand, he mentioned 425,100. For the purpose of accuracy, we want him to confirm which of these figures is correct.
Good evening, sir. My name is Friday. I'm a reporter with Channels TV. My question is also directed to the IGP. Can I go on? All right, sir. I would like the IG to speak to us about how he intends to address the issue of VIP policing on election day. We've had cases in the past, if I'm to be specific, I had an experience in Ondo State. I also had an experience in Niger State, where VIPs that are guided by police officers invaded some polling units. So, will you be policing VIPs on election day? I'd like to hear what you have, the plans you have regarding that. And secondly, I'd like to ask if your personnel that you are deploying, you made them to swear to an oath of neutrality, as INEC has done, so that we can be guaranteed of their neutral position in the course of this assignment. And thirdly, I would also like to know if you have identified any flashpoints in the states. Some CSOs briefed and they mentioned some states like Lagos, Imo, Kano, and the rest. From your own end, you are the chief security person. Did you identify any flashpoints that maybe you want your men to fix attention on? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Philip Mwele. I work for Nigeria Info. I have two questions, one for the INEC chairman and the Inspector General of Police. To the INEC chairman, with the innovations currently in place, it's expected that uploading of results will be done in real time. And, you know, Nigerians and almost everybody across the world expect this to be done without any hitch. Are there plans in place? We know how technology works and how we've experienced glitches in recent times. Are there plans in case we have, you know, some downtime during the collation of results? IG, in the past, during elections, we've had cases where some of your personnel have been accused of looking the other way while political talks disrupt, you know, election process. I would want you to, if possible, use this medium to restate what awaits them if, you know, such disruptions occur during this election. Thank you.
Please, let us allow the Inspector General of Police and the INEC chairman to answer the questions so that we don't lose track of them.
You want to start?
Very quickly, let me confirm to you once again, whatever I have said, this one that I'm saying now is the authentic. 425,106, and I have said it even agency by agency. I've told you in the police we have 310,973. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense, 51,000. Federal Road Safety Corps, 21,000. Nigerian Correctional Service, 11,336. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, 9,447. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, 350. Nigerian Immigration Service, 21,000. Total, 425,106. Secondly, how do you intend to police VIPs? That's a very good question, which I have skipped in mentioning. Just like in any other election, we expect our VIPs to drop their bodyguards, orderlies that are armed in escorting them to the polling stations. Or even if they escort them, they should stop or stay at a distance so that the person can cast his vote and leave with his aides. We do not expect armed men in the polling units. And we have told our officers to comply. Those of them with the VIPs have also been communicated through our medium of communication. As to whether I have made my policemen and other security agencies to swear to an oath, I didn't. My belief is that we are all under oath of office and oath of allegiance, and it is continuous. From the time you graduate from the police or from other services, the oath of allegiance and oath of, you will take them and you are expected to adhere to it. As for flashpoints, yes, we have flashpoints. They are known to us. We have also communicated to our officers whom we have posted to those places. I have told you earlier, depending on the threat analysis, deployment can be heavy or can be light or can be average or can be heavy and so forth. They are not meant for your consumption. Thirdly, in the past, police officers are accused of looking the other way for thugs to look, or for thugs to come and perpetrate their activities. Well, that is why I said we have developed a code of conduct. We have issued those code of conduct for you to read and keep it in your head while you are there. And at the same time, we have made a lot of engagements, a lot of trainings for policing democracy, for policing election, and all that. So I believe we will not have, the thugs may not have opportunity to even do so. More so, I think, with INEC specialization or digitalization, the issue of ballot stocking or snatching of ballot might not be a very serious thing for anybody to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, IG. Today I am fully protected because all the questions, virtually all the questions were directed at the Inspector General of Police, except the lone question on what the Commission is going to do in the event of glitches, particularly with regards to the real-time transmission of election results from the polling units. We anticipate two challenges. The first one is technical. The second one is malicious act. On the technical side, we have been working as a commission, our engineers have been working, but for several months we have been interfacing with the mobile network operators, the big four, the MTN of this world, the Glo, the Airtel, and the 9 Mobile. And we have gone so far in our relationship with them that in all the states of the Federation and at the National Situation Room here in Abuja, we are going to work with them. In fact, they are going to be embedded into our own situation room. So where there are technical issues, there is capacity, particularly from the mobile network operators, to respond to these challenges. On the possibility of malicious act, I said this severally, that any organization or institution that maintains web presence must anticipate some attempt for some compromise, either internally within the organization or by malicious act. But we have taken sufficient steps to fortify and protect our systems and processes. Unlike the Inspector General of Police, who is leaving certain things to himself, I must also say we are leaving certain things when it comes to cyber security of our assets to ourselves, because the walls have ears. But Nigerians should be rest assured that we are aware that our assets and cyber and resources may be susceptible to attack, but we have taken measures. After all, as I said yesterday, we have tremendous experience of having transmitted results in real time in elections in Nigeria, beginning from the Nasarawa Central State Constituency by-election in August 2022 to the last governorship elections in July last year in Osun State. We successfully transmitted results for 105 constituencies nationwide. So please be rest assured that we are aware of the challenges and we have capacity within the Commission to respond to the challenges. After all, the Beavers is not an electronic voting machine. It will not operate online on election day. It is completely offline. Where we need a little bit of internet connectivity is where we transmit results from the polling units, and we're on top of the game. Thank you.
We will take another round of questions now. Please, as usual, indicate by raising of your hand.
I'm here, sir. The chairman, IG, sir, my name is Omeza Ajayi, Vanguard Newspapers. About 2 or 3 days ago, the Okehi local government secretariat in Kogi State was bombed. And just yesterday, the local government chairman decided to go with some caterpillars, and he decided to dig trenches on all the entry and exit points to the local government, leaving just one. I had thought that election day security is the duty of the Nigerian police. Those who dug the trenches yesterday were arrested by your men, but we learned that later on, some soldiers accompanied some other men to also dig the trenches again. What is your response to this, sir? I am happy. Secondly, I'm happy that you talked about synergized deployment. I'm asking this question not just because you are the IG, but because you are an influential member of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, meaning that you are conversant with what is going on in some of the other agencies. Now, talking about synergized deployment, some personnel of the paramilitary services have complained that few hours to the polls, despite they are being deployed to their places of assignment, they have not been financially mobilized. Some of your men have also laid this complaint. How would you want to respond to this, sir? Thank you.
My name is Obiora Ifo. I write for Champion newspapers. So as regards to the decision of the Commission on Enugu East Senatorial Zone, I'd like to ask, does that mean that campaigns can now recommence in that senatorial zone until the 11th of March election? Number two, there is a political party in Lagos that has just said that their logo was submitted from the ballot paper. And they're asking that it's either the commission cancels the election for senatorial and the House of Representative elections in Lagos State, or give a new date, because there is an order of the court compelling the commission to put them in the ballot, and the commission has refused to obey. Thank you.
Please, I will take questions from this side of the hall.
My name is Ibrahim Shita from TVC News. When the IGP was addressing us, he mentioned the potentially volatile situations in areas like Olu, Okigwe, and also in Imo State. Then it does appear that the police, according to him, they are ready to provide adequate security for any area. No area is immune to be protected, according to him. But then he said something like he's not sure whether INEC will be conducting elections in this area, in these places. So we need to understand the situation of things in this area, whether elections will be conducted. Thank you.
Two more questions, please.
Good evening, sir.
Side.
Good evening. My name is Gift Olivia Samia, I report for the site News Online. So there's a piece of information going around asking Nigerians without their permanent voters card to log on to a particular INEC site to print their information and take it to the polling booth on the day of the election. Sir, I want your take on this. Is this information right? Because a lot of people have been sharing it and encouraging each other to do the same. Please, can you speak on that? Thank you.
Please, this side. NLB, Action Aid, Country Director, please.
Thank you very much. My observation is to the IGP, and that is the issues of violence against women. We are asking you to protect the women who are contesting. And very important, we are receiving reports from Okehi local government of Kogi State. But aside from that, we are asking you to please look at where the women are, because we've noticed a lot of violence against women. Some of them have been assassinated over the past years. Please pay attention to them, protect them. The few that are vying, let them vie through. We are not asking for any special, voting procedure, but let them be protected. Thank you very much.
Please bring the mic to the center. The lady at the center, please.
Good afternoon, Professor Mahmoud. My name is Komla Kluche. I work with Media General from Ghana. My question to you is, we are aware of the shortage of Naira in the system. I know you've made some passionate appeal to the central bank to come to your aid. The question is, do we get any firm assurance from you that all you require in terms of the release of materials and then election tools that requires the use of Naira cash, you've been able to get the needed amount of money from the central bank?
One more question, and then the IGP and ex-chairman will respond.
Hello, sir. This is a question addressed to the chairman. Would you have any sort of dates as to when we would get the results and have a new president in Nigeria? Thank you very much.
Okay, this time around, let me start before I hand over to the IG and start from the last question, basically asking how soon do we expect results of election to be declared after polling. I just want to say that we will ensure that it is done speedily, but I can't put a finger on the number of days or number of hours it will take, but it will be done speedily. We are aware of the anxiety and the need for us to conclude the process quickly, so it will be concluded quickly. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Is that Associated Free Press, AFP? Pardon? Okay. So thank you very much. I hope that answers your question. Then Komla from Ghana, shortage of currency, will it be a drag on INEC's planning, particularly aspects of our operations that require payment in cash? I think I have responded to this question over and over again. Even yesterday, I responded to this question. It is not all our operations that are paid for by cash. In fact, the bulk of our operations for the procurement of works, goods, and services are paid for electronically. But we need a small amount of money to pay for the unbanked who render critical services, particularly at the local level. And we anticipated this challenge and interacted with the central bank. The central bank promised us that for the little amount that we need to pay for services in cash, they will make the funds available to us. And they have done so. And these funds have already been accessed by our state offices for the election. That's why the movement of personnel and materials in the last couple of days ahead of the election tomorrow has gone on unhindered. So we are most grateful to our relationship with the central bank in that respect. The process will not suffer encumbrances as a result of that. But it's not every aspect of our operations that will have to be remunerated by cash. We only need small aspect of our activities that will be remunerated by cash. Then Obiora Ifo from the Champion, you said Enugu East, can campaign recommence now that the senatorial election has been adjusted? The simple answer is yes. For that senatorial district, the position of the law is very clear. Campaign ends 48 hours before the date fixed for the election. Since we have adjusted the date, campaign will continue to 48 hours before the date fixed for that election. We are now combining the election with the state elections, meaning governorship and state assembly. And campaign will end for governorship and state assemblies on the 9th. Yeah, it's on the 9th of next month. So since the election is holding on the 9th, they definitely will continue with campaign. Remember, the reason is a party lost its candidate. And the law says we should give the party the opportunity to replace its lost candidate if it wishes to continue to participate in the election. So I expect the party will conduct primaries as early as next week, submit the name of a candidate to the commission. It only follows logically that that candidate should also campaign ahead of the election. But the law is very clear: campaign for all manner of elections will go on until 48 hours before the date fixed for the election. 48 hours? 2 days before the date fixed for the election. And that's why the campaign that ended yesterday at midnight was for presidential and National Assembly elections, but not for governorship and state assembly. Now, if you look at the timetable and schedule of activities we released last year, there is a 2-week differential in the end of campaign for presidential and National Assembly and the end of campaign for governorship and state assembly, because the 2 elections are going to be held 2 weeks apart. So for that particular senatorial district, yes, the campaign will continue until 48 hours before the date fixed for the election. Is it 48 hours or 24 hours? 24 hours. So I beg your pardon, it's 24 hours. The campaigns will end 24 hours. Presidential and National Assembly ended at midnight yesterday, and at first light will deploy to the polling units tomorrow. So the campaign for state assembly and the governorship elections will also end 24 hours before election day. So 24 hours, I beg your pardon. The second question is the logo of a political party. They said the logo is missing some constituencies in Lagos as a order. The Commission has record of obedience. So the Legal Services Committee look at all the judgments we have been receiving, and they have been coming virtually every day, these judgments. The party you are talking about, in 1 year, served on INEC 70 processes on the nomination of candidates. And in Lagos, on federal constituencies alone, we accepted the nomination of candidates for 13 out of 24 federal constituencies from that party by court order. So we look at the court orders and respond accordingly. Then Olivia asking Nigerians to go to a particular site to print their PVCs, and he wanted to know whether it is from the Commission. That is the easiest question to answer in the world. It is fake news, please ignore. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The first question on the issue of Kogi. Let me give a small preamble before answering. You see, there are many players in the business of crime prevention and control. You see where state governors are in charge of their states as far as security is concerned. So by extension, the local government chairman is the chief security officer of his local government. I'm not aware of where policemen escorted trench and they were prevented, or soldiers also came and so forth. I'm not aware of what actually happened in that respect, but I'm aware of the arson that has taken place in that local government secretariat, and we are on it. The question of synergy and cooperation falling into the issue of whether we have taken care of our men financially. Yes, our synergy, collaboration, and would the other agencies board us on deployment. As for welfare, every agency has requested government of his needs or her needs, and government has provided. Let me talk for myself. As for the police, we've been provided with what we have asked, and releases have been made. we are taking care of our officers and men in the 6th geopolitical zone, both in terms of welfare and in terms of getting their deployment tools ready. And that is that. Madam, violence against women. We will look into it with all sense of sincerity and purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, it's a daily briefing. We had one yesterday. We will continue to brief the media even after declaration of the result. Please, we need to bring proceedings to a close. We need to allow those that the hall to quickly conclude, because tomorrow we have a lot to do. On that note, on behalf of the Commission, we thank the Inspector General of Police, Usman Ali Baba, CFR. We thank all the DIGs, AIGs who came with him. We thank all the members of the diplomatic corps here present, all the heads of civil society organizations, all the heads of observer groups, the editors, gentlemen of the media, members of INEC press corps, INEC officials here present. We thank you all on behalf of the committee.